Blog entry 60 from 11/14 of 2022. So this blog entry is still when I'm in Nanaimo, hanging out with Swamiji. And it was a nice day by the lake, by the ocean there. And I was having these realizations and finding it hard to understand the flow of things as they would go. So what would happen is as soon as I would have a realization in reality, the meditation around it would come, and simultaneously it would kind of break it down. And Krishna would show me where I was right and where I was wrong, canceling out like ego attachment to it kind of thing. But more so, showing how faulty the senses are in the mind, and how my perception of something, I would feel so sure that it was like this, and Krishna would be like, actually it's like this. And Radha and Krishna would come in and would show me how to see the difference from more of their perspective, which is like the truer perspective and like full picture perspective, and also help me see more and more how limited the material mind and the material senses are when we perceive something. And then another thing that this showed up for later in life, which was pretty big, and it happened a lot too. I could be traveling somewhere and I could end up in a place and I'd be like, wow, Radha and Krishna, because I try and keep a dialogue going as much as I can in my mind with them all the time. So when I'm thinking about something, I'm talking to Radha and Krishna about it. When I'm going to a place, I'm talking to them about it. When I see a person, I'll be like, wow, this person seems like this, and it may be like this. And I try, and that's in turning my devotion into a walking meditation. And so I'm always engaging Radha and Krishna as much as I can that way throughout the day. So at this time, they were helping me see how off the mind and the material senses are. Because we have all these filters, right? So we have an emotional filter. Everything that we hear and we see and we feel comes through an emotional filter. And then we have the mind. And then we have triggers from previous traumas and whatever else we have going on. And all of these things, information has to go through before it can get processed and in the mind and us think about it. And then the thoughts are material and it's drawn to the material. It's such a tricky process. So the more that you can engage through devotion and connect with God and divinity in everyday life, the more you can ask and talk about and feel from a different perspective that's not your own. And it's amazingly helpful. Even at, there would be certain times where I would go into a new setting and there would be new people, and some would seem super devout and some not so much devout. And as an example, I would talk to Radha and Krishna and be like, wow, like this person seems so into this. It's amazing. They seem so into this. And Radha and Krishna would be like, well, yeah, but their heart isn't where you would think it would be, you know. I'd be like, oh. And they were helping me understand, again, that I'm not really going to know where that person is with my senses and the capacities that I have. But I can ask Radha and Krishna, and they'll help guide me along. There would be other times I would see someone that they would just seem like in their devotion that it would just, I'm like, oh, well, I guess they're not really into it as much. And Radha and Krishna was like, actually, their heart's really in it. And I'm like, whoa, because I was completely off, right, in my perception of it. And it's really helpful to do that because it helps integrate your devotion and God and Radha and Krishna into your life each day, more and more and more. And it grows your relationship more and more. And it helps you navigate life so much better in a really soft, loving way, which I found really helpful. So back to the blog entry. this is basically where this process was starting for me. Yeah. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening along. Have a great rest of your day.